Hello, musical experimenters! Today we're going to explore some mathematical, musical, scientific experiments. I'm going to show you how to use a new tool to experiment on your own with sound at home. Technology can be a very cool way to explore music and sound. I hope you'll get creative in this virtual music lab and have fun playing with sound. Miss McMillian. Hey CWC, it's Miss McMillian. I'm here today to show you about this really cool new website for doing some music experiments. I'm going to use it for another lesson that I'm posting this week, and I also want you to be able to use it for some playing around and experimenting at home. So I'm going to show you all the different things you can do with it today. This is Chrome Music Lab. The site is musiclab.chromeexperiments.com. If you want the link, it's in the specialist menu for this week, along with this lesson and the other lesson that I'm posting about it. So when you get to the site, you'll see all these little apps, and these are all the different experiments that you're going to get to play with on this site. So we're going to go through, I'm going to walk you through a few of them and show you how they work, what you can do with them. So the first one we're going to look at is the Songmaker app. Let's click into there. I'm going to move my face so it's not in the way. I'm going to hang out over here for our video. And it should be loading. Cool. Once you get to the Songmaker, it's going to look like this. All of these empty boxes are all of the pitches you have to use. The lower ones are lower, and the higher ones are higher. Low one, high one. And these ones down here with dots in them are different percussion instruments. You have a high one and a low one. So when you're making a song, you can start by making whatever kind of beat you want. I got mixed up. That was not the beat I want. Cool. That's my little beat going. And then you add whatever pitches you want. You can add chords. You can put more than one pitch going. Or you could do one pitch at a time. And then when you're ready to hear it, you can press this big play button right here. And stop when it's done. Alright, I kind of like that, but here is where you can change what instrument that these pitches are played on. You can choose marimba, piano, you can get strings, you can do woodwinds, sounds like a clarinet going on, synth, and back to marimba. This button here changes the instruments that are used down here. So right now I have it set to an electronic. You can have wood blocks, you could do drum kit, and you could do congas. I like the conga one, so let's do conga and marimba. Get slower, or you could make it faster to play your song that you create. I believe with the mic you can record your voice and add the pitches that you sing on here, so you could record a song. You can undo whatever the last thing you did was, redo it, and you could save it here. So that's about this one. This is one of my favorite ones because you can be really creative with this one in writing your own song, and it's easy. And you can just add stuff, and if you don't like it, you can take it away. And it's all very colorful and fun. So there's that one. Yes, let's go back. I'm sure I don't want to save it. The next one is the rhythm one. This is the one that I'm also doing a lesson on this week. So we're going to go more into depth in this one, but I'll show it to you anyway. We'll go quickly over it. So with the rhythm one, it gives you 3 instruments. and you have one row for each instrument, and they're color-coded. So you see orange is going to correspond to this orange drum, and yellow here is going to correspond to the yellow drum, and then up here we have a little silver triangle for the triangle. So you can, just like you did with the Songmaker, add pitches to make a song. And then when you're ready to hear it, and you're creating a beat here, and it's just going to keep repeating over and over again. This one, you can edit it while it's playing. You can take stuff out because you're like, oh, I don't really like this beat, or I want to add one here and hear it live, how it's actually turning into it. Or you could write it all out like I did and then just play and see what happens. You can also change instruments by changing your characters. Again, the color corresponds to what instrument it's going to be. The little yellow is the cymbal, blue is the blue drum, red's the red drum. And then you can do that. And then there's this one and these guys. And you can make your beats with this one and just create cool little beats. This is the one, we'll talk about it a lot more in our other video this week. The next tool we've got is the spectrogram. So let's click into that one and see what we've got. On the spectrogram, so this shows us what our sound looks like. So when you hear one note being played on the flute or the piano or the trombone, you're not just hearing that one pitch, you're actually hearing a bunch of pitches together, but that one is louder than the others. So the spectrogram shows you what that visually looks like. So let's look at the flute a little bit. When you look at it, you see those really thicker lines that are darker and have those warm colors, the reds, the yellows, the oranges. And you see the littler lines and you see that are blue and green and cooler colors. The big thick ones are the notes that you're actually hearing, the pitches that you think you're hearing. And then those smaller lines are all the overtones that are also part of that pitch, part of that sound. And those overtones are what makes that sound better than, I believe if you go into this one, you can do just a specific sound. Notice there's no overtones here, you're only hearing the pitch right where I'm holding my mouse, as opposed to, doesn't sound quite as electronic, does it? You can do this with all the different instruments. There's harp, there's trombone, there is an electronic one, there's bird, there's computer noises, there's wine glasses, you know, when you play on the rims of wine glasses. And then there's also this cool one with a microphone where you could sing and it'll show you all those pitches and the visual representation of what your voice looks like. So this one's a really cool one to look at and play with. Let's take a step back and we'll look at chords. Now this one's not quite as exciting to play with, but when you look at the chords, we have a piano here, and you're going to click a key on the piano. When you click that key, it will show you a chord. If you're switched to major, it'll show you that major chord. So I clicked on C, and it's showing me C, E, and G, a C major chord. If I were to click on D, it would show me a D major chord. E major, F major, F sharp major. Whatever key you click on, it'll show you that major chord. If you switch to minor, it'll show you the minor chord for that key. C minor, D minor, E minor, and so on. This could be a cool tool if you're a piano player and you want to practice your scales and your arpeggios. This shows you all of the keys for all your major and minor chords on the piano. Other than that, not super fun to play with. So next, let's look at sound waves, which I think is super cool. So these little dots show the movement of air, essentially, because when you hear a sound, that sound is moving through air to get to you in a wave. So when I click on a note here, you can see all those dots moving and bouncing. Something you'll notice is when you look at a lower note, the waves are slower and bigger as opposed to a high note up here. All those are getting really excited and they're smaller waves. You can also click into here and it'll follow one specific dot for you. So you can press it once, or you could hold on to it, and you'll actually get to see the sound wave for that specific note. If you look at the nice low one, big, wide, slow moving wave. If you pick the highest note you can, it's a much more compressed and a much faster wave. So that's fun to play around with, both with all the dots together and with a singular dot. Next we have the arpeggios tool, and this shows you your circle of fifths to start with, and when you start playing, it'll just play whatever arpeggio. So if you're in C, the capital letters are major, the lowercase letters are minor. So if you're in C major, it'll do your C major arpeggio there. And you could start playing and just click around and start creating a song. And you could be methodic, you could go around the circle of fifths, or you could get crazy and see what happens if you just start randomly clicking letters. And you'll notice it sounds much better if I follow the circle of fifths and do something next to it, rather than jumping across the circle and going from C major to D sharp major, because those keys aren't really related. You can change what instrument you hear it on. You can change the tempo, the speed, slower and faster. And you can also change how those arpeggios are being shown. Something that's cool you can do with this, if you're a singer, you could slow it down and use this to practice singing your arpeggios. You can go around your circle of fifths and just practice matching pitch while you're singing. Or you could just do what I did and turn it up really fast and just make a song. So this one's fun to play with too. Let's go back and see what else we've got. We've got all those. Let's take a look at the Kandinsky one. Kandinsky was an artist known for abstract art. So here you're going to create a little bit of abstract art. And everything you draw is going to be turned into music using this tool. So if you just make some random mark, and then press play, turns into sound. Not super exciting of a song, but you could also draw a picture. So if I draw a puppy dog, draw a circle, for some reason it wants to be voices rather than guys. And then give him some ears. And that's my puppy dog. Let's see what the puppy dog sounds like. Not super bad, but now you can also, by changing the color, you change the instrument, you change how it sounds. Let's do it with these ones, see what it sounds like. So that's what Kandinsky does. So this one's really fun. I spent a lot of time playing with it. Then you can go back and erase and start over if you're interested. Back again. Let's take a look at Melody Maker. Melody Maker is not super different from Song Maker because it's got these squares again now, and you put notes in. The only difference is you can't do multiple pitches. You can only do one per column. When you play it, and it'll repeat it and keep it on a loop. You can increase the tempo, make it go faster or slower. You can also press this button and it adds some extra notes, adds some harmony in there. So let's see what they created for me. I'm going to go back to my original. Oh, who cares? So that's this one. It's not super different, but it does add those for you afterwards. Next, we've got the voice spinner. Now with the voice spinner, you're going to click this and record your voice. You can record yourself saying a phrase. You could record yourself making weird noises. You could make pterodactyl noises and record it. You could also record yourself actually singing. And then once you've got a recording, you move this back and forth. And it'll play your recording forward, backwards, fast, slow, depending on how you move it. And you can do really cool things with your voice that you've recorded. This one's pretty fun to play with too. Let's keep going. Let's hop on to harmonics. Gotta love harmonics. This one's very math-based. So if you look and see, there's a pitch. Can't really hear it. There you go. If you drag it, you can hear a little bit. So what here is the mathematical relationship between sound wave size and the pitch that you hear. So like we were talking about before, the faster the sound wave, the higher the pitch. So these smaller, faster ones, when we cut this one up, is going to be higher pitch than this nice low one. So this is it when it's in its original form. And then this is it when you cut it in half. When you cut it into thirds. Fourth, fifth, sixth. Notice how it gets higher and higher the smaller we make that sound wave. And it's the relationship too that we've gotten there. This is just a kind of example. There's not much you can do with it. Going back, the next thing we've got is piano roll. So piano roll's fun because you can see it's kind of a graphical picture representation of piano music. So all these dots are keys on the piano. And if they're being played at the same time, it shows their length, their pitch, higher pitch and lower pitches, how long they are, how thick they are. These are short little notes that are just happening quickly. And you can see the music that's being played. So if I press play, and you can listen and watch all the notes go by. You can do it in this weird synthetic kind of sound. You can also switch it to piano. And you can also switch it to voice. You can record your voice and it'll play all the pitches on your voice. You can change the songs. They've got a few different cool songs that you can see in here. Play around with it. And I think it's really fun to just be able to watch the video and watch the music go by in a different way as opposed to what the pianist sees actual sheet music. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. So next, I only have a couple more. Let's do oscillators. These ones have different shaped sound waves and it's oscillating. This one is a square shaped wave. And you have the wave, but you can also change the frequency. Frequency is how often it happens, how fast it happens. When you increase the frequency when it's happening faster, it's going to have a higher pitch. When you decrease the frequency, make it lower. So you can click up here, and we hear that square wave nice and high. And we can do it down here, and you hear that sound wave nice and low. So there's the square one, there's a triangle one, sawtooth one. Sorry, sawtooth and triangle are different apparently. There's the triangle one. And there's a sine wave, a circle one to play with. These are fun to demonstrate. Notice how they're getting closer together, further apart, stretching that wave out. Stretching that wave out makes it lower. Compressing it together makes it higher. And then the last tool on here is the strings. And this is another one that shows the representation of math and sound. So when you've got one string, you just pluck it. It sounds like that. When you cut the string in half, when you make it half as long, it's this pitch. When you cut it in a third, it gets this high. A fourth. Fifth. And a sixth. And you can also see 5/6, 4/5, etc. And use all of those and play along. You can also play on the strings if you drag your mouse around. So that's Chrome Music Lab. I really hope you're going to go on and do some exploring. Pick an app that sounds interesting to you and play with it. And also tune in for my video about rhythm, and we're going to do an activity with the rhythm tool this week. So I hope you enjoy, have fun, and I'll see you next time.